So it's been a while since Hbomberguy made this 4-hour video on plagiarism in YouTube. Now, I watched it on my own time because it's 4 hours, but I did watch all of it, and it has to do with controversies including internet historian, Illuminati, and James Somerton. And I believe this is the video that got James Somerton to come out with his terrible apology video. Yeah, it was a great video. Some of these are worse than others, in my opinion, such as internet historian. I didn't think that was that problematic. You know, when I think of other YouTubers that weren't even in this video who are just so problematic predators that just keep making videos and things like that. But this video is from the Gamer from Mars on a 2-month update on what has happened since this gigantic 4-hour video from Hbomberguy. So I want to see what the update is. Let's get started.
It has now been about 2 months since the release of Hbomberguy's video, Plagiarism and YouTube. If you were somehow unaware of this 4-hour-long expose, we have another video on this channel discussing its contents and the immediate aftermath.
Oh,
but now that the dust has had a
too.
chance to settle, I wanted to explore the impact of Harry's video and see what, if any, long-term consequences it could have for its targets, and YouTube as a whole, considering it has a whopping 15 million views.
Yeah.
To begin today, let's start with some of the video's lesser targets, such as Philip Mewson and Cinemassacre's Newt Wallen. While Harry was thorough with his breakdowns of these stories, nothing he said was particularly groundbreaking. These creators had already been exposed years prior, and thus the controversies surrounding them had come and gone long ago. Not only that, but both of them had already faced consequences for their actions, being fired from their jobs and more or less run off the internet. Another YouTuber that was briefly touched upon in Hbomberguy's video was Luke Stevens. As Harry told the story, Luke had ripped off his review of the game Bloodborne back in 2017, and upon being called out for it, released a vitriolic response which has now been deleted. While Luke was only mentioned in passing in the upload, he was still accused of being a plagiarist even to this day.
But his videos are still awash with plagiarism.
Yeah, it's kind of like if you do it once, clearly, I mean, why would you just do it once, you know? So I don't know. I guess the perception would probably always be that they're plagiarists.
Ripping off other YouTubers for hours at a time now. The only new sections being stuff about how homophobia is fine.
For his part, Stevens went to his YouTube community tab and posted a lengthy apology, denouncing the person he was back in 2017, and vowing to continue to better himself in the future. Going one rung higher up the ladder, another larger target of the video was the infamous creator Illuminati, aka Blair.
And she is still making
videos. Like those previously mentioned, Blair had already faced the wrath of the internet, both for plagiarism and a litany of other offenses. However, her public shaming was much more
God, I hate when they make thumbnails like this. They're so creepy. That doesn't even look like her.
And she continues to be a popular topic of discussion for drama and commentary channels even to this day.
Yeah.
While Harry went more in depth with Illuminati's many examples of plagiarism, even devoting a whole other video on his second channel to breaking down even more instances of it, nothing he said was particularly new in terms of information, and Blair did not respond publicly. That being said, the ability to comment on all of her new videos has been turned off, a fact which Hbomberguy has taken credit for. Yes, it was clear that Harry wanted to keep an eye on Illuminati's content for a while after his video was published. On December
The problem is, the best way to, like, not allow her to continue is just stop watching the videos. Like, just stop watching. I know she's lost a lot of viewership, but yeah, that's the only way.
He posted a clip to Twitter from her most recent video at the time, about disaster relief.
I heard about this. What are the commenters?
Forgotten to edit in her own voiceover for nearly 5 minutes. He went on to chastise her for the apparent laziness on display. You only miss something this obvious if you're completely asleep at the wheel. Like a single test watch. Hell, clicking through the video just to check it rendered correctly would catch this. As of writing, the video is still public on Illuminati's channel with the editing error intact.
Why didn't she just fix it? It's weird.
After seeing this...
Wait, okay, I know that some things are hard to edit after you upload, but can't you cut something out after you upload, like on the YouTube editing software? For me, I don't really use it because it's hard to use, and it's like I'd much rather use my own software. But I think you can cut that out after it's uploaded, and it just like updates it.
I realize that the odds that she'll ever do anything to change at this point are fairly low. Blair's channel was on the decline long before the Hbomberguy video put the spotlight on her.
You know what it could be, though? It could be she literally just posts and ignores everybody. She doesn't read any comments. She doesn't verify after it's uploaded. She just uploads and leaves it and ignores everyone. Yeah.
As she's been hemorrhaging viewers and subscribers for almost a year. While it's still possible that she'll eventually try to change her ways and put more effort into future uploads, it seems as though the ship has sailed in terms of goodwill from her audience. Even in the past month, she has lost 10,000 more subscribers, which makes you wonder, who are these people that are just now deciding to jump ship after months of drama and callouts? Moving on, it was with Harry.
Well, not everybody watches a person they're following every day or even in a month. Sometimes they come back after a year and check out what they've been doing. And if you're not looking for the drama, you might not see that she's in controversy. She doesn't like really talk about it. So like she just keeps uploading random videos. So you might miss it.
Harry's segment on Internet Historian that things became more interesting. Again, this was already discussed more in depth on our previous video on the subject. But to put...
Okay, I'm just gonna say, I didn't think this was that bad. Like, it was pretty tame, and it was fixed, and it was... Yeah. It wasn't that bad.
Simply, it was discovered that Historian had taken many segments of his video, Man and Cave, from a Mental Floss article word for word, resulting in him removing, editing, and re-uploading it without...
You know, removing, editing, and re-uploading. Well, Illuminati didn't do that, and other people haven't done that. It's like this is what you're supposed to do. Fix a mistake and move on. Fix it, though. And don't just ignore it.
Without ever publicly addressing the issue. While the internet had already known the original video had been taken down for copyright reasons, the full explanation was new information to the majority of onlookers. At the time of making our original video,
you know, not everybody wants to stay in a controversy, even if it's about them. It's like, okay, fix a mistake, and that speaks for itself. At least... that's kind of what I'm feeling at the moment, right?
Had not yet been a response from Lucas Riley, the author of the Mental Floss article. There were some Internet Historian defenders who spread the rumor that the two had already hashed things out in private, making Hbomberguy's call-out a non-story. In a turn of events...
You know, the thing is, we don't know what happened behind the scenes. He could have had to sign an NDA. He could have... there could be legal things happening that he can't speak about it, or... Maybe he just doesn't want to,
A little under a week later, a viewer posted an email he had received from Lucas in response to the controversy, claiming that he had never been contacted by Internet Historian and that he was hurt by what had happened. It should be noted that Lucas had sold the story to Mental Floss, so that's who Internet Historian dealt with when there was copyright issues. Much like Illuminati, Internet Historian has yet to issue any sort of...
Yeah, you wouldn't contact the writer directly then if they had sold it to a company. I don't know. It just, it's not cool. But compared to like, I can think of at least 5 other YouTubers who are actually like the priority. Okay. Like take James Somerton, who is included in Hbomberguy's video. That guy read articles word for word over and over and over. See, like, if I'm going to compare, I think that's worse, and I take it more seriously, and he never fixed his mistake. He just kept doing it every time, and people would comment that they knew he was doing this, and he would still keep reading word for word, and then in his apology video, he blamed everyone else for the problem, and it was just... See, that's what I want to focus on. Internet Historian, sure, it wasn't good, but they fixed the issue and moved on. What can I say? We got to pick and choose the battles, you know.
Public statement about the callouts, and given his track record, it's unlikely he ever will. A look at his social blade reveals that he lost around 60,000 subscribers since December. While this may sound like a lot, it's important to note that Internet Historian's channel still boasts nearly 4 million subs. In addition, the video he posted a day after...
So that also speaks for how everyone else feels too. It's like, it's not that bad. And I'm sorry, I don't think it's okay for somebody to be hurt if their written works are taken or plagiarized. It's not okay. But what can you do after it's done? You have to just fix the issue. And I think that Internet Historian did that, and that's it, right?
Plagiarism and YouTube went live, he still managed to reach a respectable 2.5 million views. So it's probably safe to assume his core audience isn't going anywhere. Time will ultimately tell, but I'm going to guess this elusive creator will probably never publicly acknowledge the situation. And this brings us to the main subject of Hbomberguy's video and the person undoubtedly most negatively affected by its aftermath. James Somerton. Not only did Harry fill nearly half of his video with examples of plagiarism from this single creator, but he also pointed out several other things about his content that he took issue with. Such as Somerton's apparent dislike of women and the fact that he took money from Indiegogo for a project he seems to have never made progress on.
A lot of money.
This entire segment was so thorough in its deconstruction that it made James Somerton the laughingstock of the internet, both from his former core audience and the people who had never even heard of him before. It didn't help that multiple other YouTubers began speaking negatively.
I had never heard of him until the drama happened. That's pretty sad. And you had people comment from everywhere talking about how he stole from them. I mean, it was crazy. And he never made any effort to change a thing.
About him around this same time as well, many of whom were members of James' same genre, breadtubers as some might call them. Dan Olson of Folding Ideas wrote a lengthy thread on Twitter delving into his own problems with the LGBTQ creator, specifically about how he seemed to recklessly spend Patreon money on incredibly expensive cameras. He even called out James directly in the comments of his last upload.
That is so clever. Say you're gonna make a movie, but use the money for just fancy cameras for your channel. You know, it's technically a purchase that could go towards a movie. Oh my gosh.
When you said your channel was teetering on the edge of extinction and then replaced your Ursa Mini Pro G2 with an FX6 a few weeks later, was that a lie about your financial situation or just a profoundly reckless use of money that your patrons believed was intended to keep you from being homeless? In addition, Todd in the Shadows posted a video the day after Harry's, fact-checking numerous errors made by Somerton over the years.
I started watching Somerton's stuff out of curiosity to see this, to see all this plagiarism for myself, and I did catch some of it, but I was struck by something else entirely, which was his tendency to just straight make shit up.
James quickly erased his online presence, wiping away all of the content from his YouTube channel, deactivating his Twitter, and shutting down his Discord server. He kept his Patreon up for a bit, posting a brief apology and promising to speak on the matter further later on.
Why don't you just refund it?
Deleting his account there as well. While many waited eagerly to hear what the disgraced creator had to say for himself, it seemed as though he would be gone for the foreseeable future. Later in December, James returned to YouTube with a video simply titled, "I'm sorry." But this was not the well-thought-out response to the accusations that many fans may have hoped for. Instead, Somerton spent the over 30-minute runtime sobbing uncontrollably and struggling to speak in complete sentences. He even opened the video by explaining that he had been in the hospital after an apparent failed suicide attempt. The rest of the video mostly consisted of ramblings, although he did...
It has nothing to do with... I mean, it was your actions that caused this. I'm sorry,
managed to elaborate on a few details of the fallout, most notably that he had completely lost touch with his former best friend and writing partner, Nick, following Hbomberguy's video. While James seemed despondent over this, it also appeared to some like he was trying to throw Nick under the bus for some of the accusations of misinformation, despite his claim later on in the video that this was not his goal.
I'm sorry that stuff made it into videos that just shouldn't have been there. Misinformation and lies. I promise you I did.
Like, okay, even if Nick wrote every single word, you're the one in front of the camera. You don't research anything. And I don't believe, by the way, I don't believe this, that it's just Nick's fault. It can't be. It's not. You're the one in front of the camera. It's your face. You should take it very seriously, what you're saying.
Did not write that stuff. I should have been a lot more exacting when Nick and I would be editing scripts, but...
So you edited the script. Why didn't you do anything then?
I promise you.
Hello?
Those are not, I don't think those things.
James also apologized to all the writers whose work he had lifted, stating his desire to make things right financially.
Yeah.
Of course, this would be easier said than done.
He hasn't done a
by
thing,
his
has
own
he?
admission, he was not exactly flush with cash, and would soon be moving back home, presumably with his parents. But James suggested that perhaps he could make his old videos public again, and each month send the ad revenue to Hbomberguy's team to distribute amongst the wronged parties. That said, even though
Has that
Summerton
happened?
claimed to understand that he was in the wrong, he still claimed more than once that he had often credited the works of these others in his videos, saying he adapted them. He also stated that he was eventually planning to return to making YouTube videos and was going to be reopening his Patreon so that any of his supporters who wanted to cancel their pledge could do so before the next billing period. It probably goes without saying that this upload was
it just feels
incredibly
weird.
poorly received, and it was deleted mere hours after being published.
I don't know why people do this. Like, they upload a crazy video that they know is going to go viral, probably, and then they delete it as if everyone hasn't already saved it. I mean, why?
As of writing, this has been James Summerton's final public comment on the matter, but onlookers have noticed channels re-uploading his old
do you see
videos
that?
getting taken.
2 James Summerton archive channels have been terminated. One of them has been copyright claimed by James himself. Are we surprised? No, but still disappointed.
Down due to copyright strikes. On top of that, writers whose work he plagiarized have claimed that Summerton has been reaching out to them directly, apologizing and offering to help make things right however he can.
Send the money you made off of each person's video. It's that simple. I said this video is apologizing, but he knows. He knows.
Although they largely do not seem to be receptive to this idea. And while the public continues to roast James, it would appear that Harry isn't finished with him just yet either. He recently posted a tweet asking for anyone that had been plagiarized by Summerton to contact him for the purpose of creating a fund to pay them back for their stolen work, at least in part.
See, that's an act. That is action. That is what should have been done. Like, he's playing dumb. James Summerton plays dumb. As if everyone can't tell that he's just pretending. He's not actually doing anything.
And this brings us back to the person who has certainly benefited the most from the video's success, Harry himself. In the span of the first month, plagiarism in YouTube had gained over 10 million views, already making it his biggest video of all time. It also sparked a larger conversation amongst online creators as a whole, with a large number of people taking the opportunity to explore instances in which they were stolen from or maybe had even stolen from someone else. I've personally seen a shift in the industry zeitgeist, with many creators now trying to make more in-depth videos and looking to do more than just derivative scripts with surface-level information. While I don't think it's apparent just yet, with more competition than ever before on this website, I think that doing some digging to find stories that no one else has covered before will be the surest path to success on YouTube moving forward, even if it takes a lot more effort in the short term to do so.
All right, good video. Short and sweet. I like to see an update. James Summerton hasn't done a thing. He sent some crappy emails, which is almost worse than to just do nothing or say nothing. Internet Historians continued living life and making some other videos because I don't think that one was too terrible, and it was stopped very fast, and which is really smart. I mean, come on, we have James Summerton who literally didn't get the point over and over and over, and that's why he's the one being heavily canceled. Illuminati just continuing with her interesting videos about random facts and stuff and controversies. I don't think she reads any comments anymore. It's just my opinion. She hasn't turned off, of course, but I'm talking about on social media, like Twitter. I think she's just ignoring everything and uploading. Yeah, this is a good video. I'm glad to see an update, and I will leave it in the description if you want to see it for yourself. And I will see you in the next one.